Hi everyone, it's Sam, and I'm back with a really special April Plan With Me video. We're going bunny-tastic. I'll show you how I drew, painted and finished off 7 bunnies for this spread. And then I'm going to show you something very special, an exclusive preview of all my stickers that I've made so far to go in my Etsy shop. All the chapters for the different sections are linked in the description. So with so much to cover today, we better get started. It's my birthday month, so I went with a whimsical theme of bunnies holding brollies, which is another word for umbrellas. I drew all 7 bunnies out using my Col-Erase pencil because it is easy to erase and won't damage the paper. When you're drawing cute creatures in a cartoon style, make sure you have a very large head. For the rabbits, I tend to draw a pear-shaped head and large wide-set eyes. I drew different little scenes. This one, it's a cute girl bunny with a butterfly as a ribbon in her hair, eating a little heart-shaped biscuit. And her little boyfriend is holding a leaf, protecting them both from the April showers. I just let my imagination run riot. So you'll see I'm drawing this little boy bunny and a side profile so you can see his precious little tail, and this is the leaf that he's holding to protect both of them from the rain. As you can see, there's an awful lot of trial and error, which, as I mentioned, that's why I do love the Col-Erase pencils, but you get there in the end. Once you have your guidelines there, it's time to go over everything with a mechanical pencil and add those all-important details. In a lot of my spreads, I draw things that are dangling from branches like hearts and crystals. This time I decided that I wanted my rain cloud to have dangling bunnies sitting in a floral wreath holding their umbrellas. It's your bullet journal, you can draw whatever you like in it. I just wanted something joyful to be able to come back to. I'm basically having the bunnies sit within circles, which will become the floral wreaths, but I don't put too much of the detail in with the pencil for the wreaths. That will come with the paint and the brush pens. This particular bunny is actually one of my favourites. I don't know why. I just think they all look so cute. And now we're back to our little girl with her heart-shaped biscuit. You can see how I'm really using the blue Col-Erase pencils as a guide, and it's just there to help me. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. So I'm having my little girl sit there on the grass eating her biscuit, surrounded by flowers. All the shapes are very simple. The magic happens when you put everything together. He's taking his job very seriously and protecting them both from the rain. I think he looks adorable. So now we're coming on to a little scene with 2 baby bunnies. It's their first time outside, and it's their first encounter with a little robin. They both look really surprised to see this beautiful little creature emitting such a loud sound. The surprised expression is achieved by drawing in raised eyebrows and alert ears. This bunny pair and the robin are my absolute favourites for this spread. And this scene was inspired by my 2 cats who had been indoor cats, and when they were let out, this is exactly how they behaved when they came across a loud robin. For the April calendar, I'm drawing dangles from the rain cloud and adding hearts at the base. I will put in the grid with the numbers later on. So every month, as part of my setup, I do monthly goals as well as my trackers page. I reduced what I was tracking this month, so there are just 4 factors because I really am not very good at keeping up. But this meant it left room for yet another bunny because, let's face it, 6 bunnies are not enough. I needed a 7th. I decided to do this one standing up, holding his umbrella proudly. And I don't know if you remember, but there was a cartoon back in the 80s called the Care Bears, and they were all little teddy bears with hearts and different symbols on their bellies, and that was where the inspiration for his heart on the belly was. Now it's time to choose the paint colours. The gouache paint set I use is linked in the description below. I wanted 2 different sorts of colours for my bunnies, one a sort of pastel blue-grey and the other a browny orange. I do my usual trick of mixing a brown and a blue to get the grey, and for the browny orange I use burnt sienna and mix it with some of the white. So the key thing here is to bring our bunnies to life with the paint. This is by trying to make them look 3D. You mix a dark and a light of the colour that you're using, and use the darker colour for all the areas where shade would be, like under the head, around the tail and the paws. And then to suggest the fullness of the body, you add white opaque paint. Everything that's a little darker will look like it's going backwards, and everything that's paler and more opaque looks like it's coming forwards. And that is how you suggest 3-dimensional bodies. The white gouache is absolutely essential. So in addition to the blue-grey, you'll see we added some purple to create a lilac, just for a bit of variety on the blue bunny. And then we also have some magenta, which we mix with the white to create a nice pastel pink for all the bunny ears and feet. Once the paint is dry, you'll see that the colours are lighter than when you first put them on. That always happens with gouache and watercolours. I actually prefer painting pale to start with, because it means that you can keep adding layers and layers to get the dimensional look that you're after. Vary the amount of water that you put with the paint, so that sometimes you're getting a watery look, and then sometimes you're adding more white to get a more opaque look. Sometimes the colour's more concentrated, sometimes it's more pale. It all adds interest to that first layer on each bunny. Okay, so the first layer is now dry. I'm moving over to a smaller brush and increasing the saturation of the colours by using more concentrated paint colours. For the blue bunnies, I add more cobalt to the grey mix and blend it out with the opaque white. For the brown bunnies, this means adding more burnt sienna to the mix. You will see I keep blending the brown and the blue out with the white so that it looks continuous and natural. On a face, you will naturally see shading around the eye socket, as well as underneath the chin and at the base of the ears. It doesn't matter too much if you make mistakes at this stage, because you'll see some pen magic that I'll use with the brush pens and the gel pens that really help you achieve really cool blended lights and darks with arguably a bit more control. So after that was dry, I moved on to my goals and tracker page to do the first layers of my standing bunny. I chose to do this one in the browny orange colours, and you can see I'm doing exactly the same thing, mixing up the brown and the white and creating that all important dimension. I will also put a little bit of brown fur on the legs just so that you get a bit of texture. If you want to see the full swatch of this gouache set, or how I mix colours to get nice tertiaries and secondaries, then make sure you look at the link of the video above, where I go into a lot more detail. He's really starting to come to life now, isn't he? So I used a little blob of black paint from the gouache set to colour in all the eyes. Then I use a very fine gel pen in brown, it's 0.28mm, and I use this to outline around the bunny to give it that sense of definition. The white gel pen puts in the reflection in the eye for that touch of realism. And now we're on to the pen magic chapter. I'm using a brush pen in orangey brown, the set I'm using is linked below, and then I use my paintbrush to move the paint around. I do the same with my white gel pen, so I highlight the nose and the top of the hair, then use my paintbrush to move the white gel pen around. This means that you can shade the fur in a more controlled way with your pens. For some reason the ink, especially the surprise is the white gel pen. The ink in this pen is so beautiful and opaque, and as long as you get there before it dries, the ink moves with the brush and you're able to add really beautiful white highlights. I will use this technique to shade all the bunnies as a way of finishing them off. Before that, I want to add a background, so I add some magenta, blue, yellows, greens, whites and oranges so that I can create some watery mixes to dab blobs of colour around the bunnies to give the impression of grass and flowers. I use the orange, pink and white to create a nice pinky peach, and then the yellow and the green for the grass, and magenta and pink for where I want the flowers to go. I'm deliberately keeping it watery and loose so that the bunnies still stand out in the background. So I'm afraid I had a little bit of a mishap with the camera. It just stopped recording for a few minutes just when I started using the brush pens. You basically miss me using the brush pen to colour in the leaves and the floral wreath, and then I use an acrylic paint pen, everything is linked below, to do the opaque pink and then yellow flowers. I will repeat all these techniques in full for the standing bunny on the next page, so you won't miss out on the techniques involved. So here I'm really enjoying using the white gel pen and the brown brush pen with my paintbrush to move the ink around to shade the darks and lights wherever I need it. And then I use the fine gel pen to outline everything. I also use the gel pen to add the musical notes to show the robin singing its song. I use a mix of brush pens and the acrylic paint pens for the flowers and the grass. I particularly love the pink acrylic paint pen, which I use to add the rosy cheeks on all the bunnies. This is one of the cutest little bunnies, and he's really starting to come to life now, thanks to the extra shading with that pen magic. I hope you do consider subscribing to my channel, where hopefully I'll be able to add bullet journal related content every week. The idea is to show you how I beautify my own bullet journal, making it a pleasant place to return to, so I promise you lots of tips and eye candy. So here I'm using my blue brush pen and my paintbrush to blend out the colours of the clouds and add my titles and finish off my calendar. And here is the completed cover page spread with 6 of the bunnies. I hope you love it. Next we'll be doing my tracker page. So for this page I decided I wanted a row of brollies. Nice bright shiny ones with lots of little polka dots. It's a very easy way to decorate the edge of a page. You're basically mixing up bright paint colours and painting semicircles in a row along the page. I chose 4 bright colours and applied a wash, and then used more concentrated paint to draw the lines. I used the paint that was sitting in my palette to make a nice peach for the background. It's just a mix of white, magenta and orange. The peach colour looked great behind the bunny as well. The green I used for the grass, and now I'm mixing up a light turquoise for the box for the goals and tracking. So now I'm doing the brush pen magic and the white gel pen magic. I put white on the nose and the cheeks and the forehead so that they look as though they're standing out, and use the brush pen to shade around the eyes and under the neck. As I said before, this really does bring the dimensions of the bunnies out. So I used the little fine gel pen for the finer features like the nose and the mouth, and to outline the bunny's head. And then I will use a acrylic pink paint pen for the ears and the rosy cheeks. Let me know in the comments if you want any of these bunnies as stickers. I'm actually starting to use a lot of the work I've put in my bullet journals to turn them into stickers and bookmarks and things like that, as you will see in the sticker collection chapter that will be coming up towards the end of the video. I use a blue acrylic paint pen for the rain and use different colour acrylic paint pens for the dots on all the umbrellas, or brollies. Then the fine liner pens are really good for outlining those dots. Everything that I've used today will be in the video description below. I used 2 different colour green brush pens for the grass, then used the acrylic pens for the opaque flowers as I did on the other page. This is pretty much how I did the floral wreaths on the other page, so hopefully you won't feel like you missed out on any of the techniques. But I do apologise for the camera cutting out. I'll just be more careful next time. Here I use the fine liners to outline all the umbrellas with their matching colours, and as I mentioned before, go do the polka dots with the acrylic paint pens. It's actually a very effective and easy way to decorate the edge of a page, doing these funky looking umbrellas. Now, because this video is already so long, I didn't go ahead and show all my other setup pages, but if you do look at the video linked above, I do go into more depth in that video, and I also show how I paint all my background pages. And here is the finished spread with this gorgeous bunny. I hope you love him. And now it's time for stickers. I'm really excited because these are my first ever planner stickers. This is my spring fairy sticker set. I decided I was going to use it for my first week of April weekly spread. First up, I painted my pages in a peach colour, and then I chose out of the 3 larger die cut stickers which one I wanted to feature at the top of the page. I chose this one with the blue bird in the tree. Those plants are teasels, and then there's little flower blossoms everywhere. I then used the accompanying sticker sheet to decorate the rest of the spread. It was a really exciting moment for me, to be honest with you. Just getting your own artwork in sticker form is really great fun. Anyway, here is the completed spread for the week. These stickers will be available in my Etsy shop soon. I just need to find the time to list them. And here are some of the other collections. This is the spring flower pot set, which you may recognise from my March Plan With Me video. I especially love the teacup full of crocuses and flowers that remind me of my mum. And this is my Moodicon sticker set. These are all doodles of moods that I have drawn and doodled into my own bullet journals. I made them small enough so that you can pop them in your bullet journals whenever the mood matches how you're feeling on a particular day. I hope you love them. And here is my Lovebirds collection. This is from another video that you might recognise, the one before this one. I loved the folk art style of these birds so much. And now we're on to some of my larger vinyl stickers that you'll find in the shop. These are all my fairies and mermaids, featuring watercolour paintings of mine. And these are my creatures and birds collection, also based on my own artwork. So let me know what you think in the comments, and just give me some time to list these in the shop. I'll link the Etsy shop below, but here's the website so that you won't miss out. I'll also have bookmarks and other goodies in the shop eventually. Anyway, see you next week for the new bullet journal video installment. Bye!